Well, it gives me great pleasure to be here on our OzBuzz taping. I'm Ozzie Jurock, and I have the privilege to be with Mr. Jeff Fawcett. I call him Mr., but he's really a friend and is a good old Jeff. And we have played golf together, we have commiserated together, we've done a lot of business together. And one thing I always admired about him, that Jeff always seemed to be in balance. So Jeff, welcome, and tell me a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Oz. First of all, I wanted to thank you for giving me this opportunity, first of all, to be associated with the people that you've already interviewed, very high standard quality individuals, and it's an honor to be interviewed by your mentor. You've mentored me for over 10 years. We met at SMEI, and a friendship came out of that, and yes, we've done a lot of things together.
So you're in the insurance business, which is, certainly when I get something seems to be steady, they always say it's death and taxes that are due or go up, but to me it's death and insurance, it seems to be always going up. So you're in a good business.
Well, insurance is a necessary evil. It's mandated by a lot of different bodies, may it be government or the mall or the mortgage companies. So I got licensed when I was 16, and I'm 57 now. So
you've been this for a while.
Been loving it. Wouldn't have had the opportunity most likely to get into this business without my dad. My dad, an uneducated gentleman, got into sales and made it into a career. He worked for the life insurance side, where you were a corporate guy, you didn't have any ownership, and decided to get into the general side because then you owned something. Sure. And so the best move he ever made in his life.
For him and you.
Well, yeah, for our family as a whole. I worked with my mom and my dad, and we work very well together. I've seen the other side in other businesses where the daughters and sons don't get along with mom and dad. Everybody wants to do things differently. Sure. My dad was always very open to suggestions. I guess one of the reasons, he didn't go to school and I went to Cap College. I say I participated in 2 years of sales and marketing. I did not graduate. I am dyslexic, so math at times, back then when you're doing things manually and spelling, you mix things up.
Not your strong suit.
No, but most geniuses have that same sort of issue. Yeah. Yes.
Well, actually, though, I don't know about genius, but yes. I do know something. You have some 5,000 or 6,000 clients, and you treat them all on a personal basis. And when they call you, you pick up the phone and they get to talk to you. And that, in today's age, where everybody's doing social media this and social media that, your personal touch makes you the top broker on the North Shore.
Well, we believe so. I'm sure there's other brokers that think they're the number one broker in North Van, but you're right, Oz. I preach balance in my life. My wife is my partner in life, and she's my partner in the business. And we believe in working hard and having fun hard. We believe in being involved in the community. But on the insurance side, the whole customer service thing, we've been doing this for a long time, and we have to teach the new ones. We've just hired 2 new young minds that have no insurance experience, so you're teaching them from scratch. And they're amazed that, after the last time we had rain like this, the floods, Cindy and I walked over to a client's house who had their basement flooded to make sure that the restoration company got there. Sure. and that they're looking after. I told you when we were traveling and my phone went off, to my surprise, at 4 a.m. in the morning off of Sorrento, and it was a client that had a fire. And so I calmed her down. Luckily, it wasn't a super serious fire, but bad smoke damage. I told her I'd phone her back. I phoned the restoration company. I got Spencer, my associate, involved. And the advances in technology allows someone like ourselves to be able to service a client 24 hours a day, and you have to be willing to do that, and you need your own time, is what I've been told. But we've just been doing this for so long. It's second nature.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen that often. It's not like every night. It happened when I was up staying at your place in Kimberley.
Yeah.
What was that? 15 years ago in the middle of the night. I woke Max up. He's sleeping, and I'm dealing with a situation.
Well, the thing is, it's that personal touch everybody talks about, but very few people do, that you pride yourself on. And I know certainly from personal experience, in our real estate action group, everybody, insurance is not only a necessary evil, but you have to have it for the mortgage company and for the bank and so on. But then it's what kind of insurance is also important. I certainly know that it might be painful, but when it comes to something happens that you didn't think about, you need somebody on your side, and particularly in a business you don't normally know anything about. If I'm not in the insurance business and I want to put a mortgage on my house and decide not to move in for 2 weeks first, well, after closing, maybe in that 2 weeks I'm not insured, right? So I need somebody like you saying, hey, just a minute, you can't do that, right? So it isn't just the actual, here's my money, insure me. It's let's make sure, are we insured? Are your tenants insured? Is all this kind of stuff,
Yeah, it's it's an educational process. It's an opportunity when we sit down with somebody that's a new client or even an existing client to either re-educate them, because people forget. It's not top of mind unless they're having to write the check or an incident has happened. They're dealing with a water claim. They're dealing with something. We had a client that got broken into the other day. Touch wood. I haven't heard of a B&E in North Van from one of our clients in a while. Whenever a claim happens in the office, I get sent an email from our manager because I want to know who's having losses. So, if not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, I'll touch base with them. The staff needs to do their job, and I don't want to be seen, overstepping them. But a lot of them are clients that have been clients of mine for 20 years, or my dad's clients for 20 or 30 years. Families, second and third generation names that So you want to touch base with them and ease their mind and tell them if they have any questions. The number one thing we tell them is don't be afraid to phone and ask.
Yeah.
You might not like our answer. We might say to you, the adjuster is doing the process properly. Mm-hmm. You're frustrated with it because they're looking after 10 other files, but let them do their job. I will touch base with them. I'll send them an email.
Yeah, and that's most of the time. It's a new thing, right? You have a claim. Doesn't happen all the time. That's why you have insurance. And I know it sometimes. My partner Ralph and we buy an apartment building, and we put in strong insurance, or we put in mortgage insurance, or we lock it in. We do that for a reason. It's for the eventuality that something might happen. You don't expect it necessarily to happen, but when it does, usually the claim can be big. You talk about water damage. A lot of water damage is immediately in the $20,000 range because the water goes up. They're going to cut up the gyprock, halfway up. So it's important that you have that. Now, on the other hand, they have to realize that you're in business, right? So personally, I always advise my clients, when he gives you 3 quotes, the low one and the high one, take the middle one.
There you go. Well, there's so many different types of insurance. We sell it all, and I'm licensed to do life insurance because, as I mentioned to you, my dad started on the life side and then bought a general insurance agency because he wanted to own something that he could build and then eventually retire. Well, my wife and I bought the business from my parents 15 years ago. A lot of people think it was gifted to us. You're so lucky to have Fawcett Insurance. Well, it took us 10 years to pay that off. Yeah. There was no luck involved. Well, yeah, there was luck involved. I happened to be his son. I was born into the family, right?
I was trying to model myself after your father, but I wasn't quite as fortunate. But I mean, the point is that you were happy for the opportunity. You did well, and then you added to it, right? And that's the whole point, is that your dad started it, got a good foundation, and now you made it to much larger. I know that in the community you also have quite a bit of standing. I remember attending a Man of the Year, a Man of North Van year?
A great honor. number of years ago being honored for the Business Person of the Year, recognized by my peers in the North Shore community. Again, following in my dad's footsteps, I've been involved with a number of business organizations, and I'm not a knife and forker. I just don't like showing up at these types of organizations or events and just eating dinner and then leaving. I usually, in the past, I've gotten seriously involved, gotten on the board, become president of the chamber. I was heavily involved in sales and marketing executives when it existed all over North America. It's now a virtual worldwide organization that Willis Turner, who I helped get involved, is still running and doing a phenomenal job.
Flying everywhere,
Yeah, but the SME was fantastic because I learned so much about marketing. Sales is important. Cindy's the boss at Fawcett Insurance. I am the sales and marketing manager, and so I'm responsible for sales. I need to generate a certain level of sales and look after the commercial book as well as the whole marketing. And we've always believed, and again, it might sound like repetitive, following in my dad's footsteps, giving back to the community, not just our local community, but North Vancouver, because now we have clients all over the place because of internets and relationships. But in the early years, 80-90% of our clients was east of the Seymour River sort of thing. And so we had always supported the high school. Sea Cove Auction was a huge thing where the elementary schools and the high school put on a big event.
Can you just say that again? What was that?
Yeah, it's called the Sea Cove Auction. It's named after the high school. So it was a huge event, and we built it up from a couple hundred people to 700-800 people, but 20-30 volunteers. If you want to take something big, luckily I learned the skill sets through the chamber, through sales and marketing, to build the right team, put the right people in place, and let them be successful. And these events were successful. And
so there's no question that it needs a leader. It needs somebody to be the thorn or the burro in the saddle to get people going. Everybody has a good intentions, right? And then the old saying is the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? What you need is something, okay, let's take it away from the planning stage and let's take some action. Here's some names to call, here's some funds to raise, who gets the lunch, whatever. The point is, you've always been very good at managing these kind of events. But also, I think you went into the real estate world as an investor.
Well, that's kudos to you, my friend. When you have always been involved in real estate, and I remember to the day when we were golfing at the Vancouver Club, and you were frustrated at the time. You were doing a number of other things, and you said to me, I'm going to launch a real estate club. And I said, oh, that's a good idea. Duh, Ozzie Jurock's going to do real estate. And then, everybody knows the history of REAG. It was just phenomenal of what you did. And Ralph, of course, your partner, and, all those events that ran on an annual basis, and then you turned it into a club. And, it motivated me and stirred the passion that I had. Always had a little passion for real estate. I went to an Ed Beckley seminar years and years ago. Some people might remember that guy. So I've done a few of those things, but never took action. You taught me how to take action. I remember buying our first rental property in Kimberley, and I think Cindy and I were in Italy, and you saved one for me, or one came available, right? I think that happened twice when we were traveling, and so just
seem to travel a lot, actually.
Well, work hard, play hard, Oz. That's another thing you taught me. So
you went and bought in Kimberley, and then of course you did your own real estate. You bought a holiday home in Osoyoos, and you're investing in the United States and in some joint ventures. And
it was fun to see what other people were doing at the group, and I put together a joint venture with 3 other individuals. We pooled capital. I bought a number of investments that I put into the deal, and then because of the relationship that I had with other individuals, we bought continuously and still buy continually. So that joint venture works well as my wife and I do a lot of stuff together. So
well, the thing is, we always talk about real estate, a good thing, but timing also helps, and then action, right? I mean, the whole thing is, you look in the United States, everybody has their views of the world, and But had you bought in 2002 and sold in 2006, you would have made a fortune. If you bought in 2006 and sold in 2011, you would have lost your shirt. And again, if you bought in 2011, right, you made a fortune. And so that's almost all over the world. In the end, you have to say, like I wrote in my book, Forget About Location. Timing is very important, and doing something, no matter what it is, to get into action. Now, but I don't want people to get the idea that you're working very hard, because personally, I don't think you're working all that hard. I find you more often on the golf course or some wine tasting event, or so.
Well, my wife Cindy said to be careful when you ask this question, and background. The first 20 odd years, 25 years, and still to date, because you own your own business and multiple businesses, we're on the queue, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. But there's nothing wrong with mixing that in with things that you love. And, we love family time, we love food, we love wine. We were involved with a winery in the Okanagan that just sold recently. Still a little bit sad about that, but it was a decent investment. It was more of what I called a lifestyle investment.
Well, you love wine, and you're a connoisseur of fine wines and so on.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to, we're just planning a trip to explore different areas in the U.S. because of some of the early stuff we did with you and with Western Wealth. Phoenix is well looked after. We're looking
in terms of buying condominiums and joint ventures.
Absolutely. We're going to be going through Palm Springs and spending some time there. Going to San Diego, your old territory, and then Napa's not that far away, so we got to finish up in Napa. But
well, one thing is when I look at you and other businessmen, and you're not really a small business person. You're a substantial business person, and you're involved in so many things. But there is sort of this wisdom out, and I think Michael Gerber started it, who said that you should not work in your business, you should work on your business. But reality, though, is that if you're not in your business, if you're not there, certainly for the first 10 years or so, you have no opportunity to ever work on your business from a distance, right? People expect you to be there. If I go to my favorite restaurant, if the maître d' or the owner is there, I feel better than if he isn't there, right?
Yes.
And maybe hard on him, but that's how he builds his business. And so many businesses out there, we're always trying to figure out a way not to work in it. Don't, because you are the quite often when it's a small business,
you're the brand.
You are the brand, right? And so it's so helpful when I know I have an insurance question. Pick up Jeff, and you might just simply say, Ozzie, it's such and such. Let me pass you on to so and so. But I had that few minutes of conversation, which made me feel good and enhances our relationship. You talk about travel. I know you just came back from Italy. It's sort of a yearly event for you almost. Yeah.
Well, every couple of years, my wife and I, we love Italy. We're addicted to Italy. We just did a 30th anniversary trip and spent some time in Spain for the first time, and we enjoyed Spain, but it's not Italy. We went on a cruise. We loved the cruise through the Greek Isles and stuff like that. It was beautiful. Went to Sicily. We had never been to Sicily, and then spent the last couple weeks in Italy with friends, touring them. They'd never been through Tuscany, so we set it all up. Stayed in Montalcino, spend in 2 nights in Cortona, where friends of ours own a villa, and we were able to cook 5-course dinner for 8 of us. With just passion for food and travel. We started that traveling quite seriously about 10 years ago. Actually 10 to 15 years ago, because a good friend of ours in the insurance industry was walking on a beach in Mexico, and a rogue wave came in and took him and his wife out. She made it back and he didn't. So we made that decision that point on, that it's never too early to start living your life to the fullest. Don't wait till your retirement years, because you might not make it.
Well, that's so true. And my motto, as you know, is that first of all, we want to grow continuously as an individual into our future best self, but live life large. Do it in a big style, because as you say, hey, it's that journey. You might as well enjoy that journey. It's never sort of the once you have arrived there that it starts. I like your passion for wine. I remember you had a party at your house, and there's always that question, do I buy that $100 wine, or don't I buy that $100 wine? And I know you are down on the side to buy that $100 wine, and I'm down on the side to saying, hey, just a minute. But you had, I remember, 12 people there, 6 couples, and you had 12 glasses, and everybody brought their favorite bottle of wine, and you wrapped it all in silver paper, and we all sort of got a sheet of paper, and sort of
Wine tasting,
yeah,
yes.
and sort of we did. Now we all got the real plunk. We got that right, the $8 bottle.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I bought a $130 bottle of wine that I had been given, right? And then actually the winner was, I think, a $29 bottle of wine, and the second prize was a $49 wine, and mine came in about $6.
Yeah.
Yet,
Well,
had
it was Frank's wine from
Yeah.
California Cult.
Yeah.
Put in a plug for Frank. He's just launched Cavella Wineries,
Yeah.
so it's available to the public now. But you know, it was like a $35, $40 bottle of wine at the time.
Right.
That's worth, in my opinion, north of $100, $150.
Well, anyways, the point that you were trying to make was you got to enjoy the wine, and what I took away from it, hey, you know, if I go to somebody's house and they say this is a $150 wine and I'm not really liking it, it must be something wrong with me, right?
No.
But it isn't.
No,
You know,
no.
It could very well be that Frank's wine or whose wine, beats that wine. Although you told me the other day that you refuse now to drink poor wine. I don't know what that means, but.
Quality rather than quantity. You know.
Oh, I see, but you have an issue with quantity, of course.
Well, you just over the years, hopefully we get smarter, and that's something that I'm working on, is enjoying very good quality wine. So it's a choice. You know, you have a nice dinner, you have a nice bottle of wine.
Yeah, and you used to have a nice dinner and 2 bottles of wine.
You could, yeah. You could do that easily, yeah. I wanted to touch base on something that you brought up earlier, and it leads to my team, and not just my team, Cindy and my team that we built at Fawcett Insurance. You know, when we took over the business, we inherited 3 matriarchs that were in the business. They were like mums to me. They were my dad's team, and they were older English and Scottish ladies, and I just loved them to death, and they taught me so much. But shortly, we knew we had to replace them, so we had to start hiring, and we've gone through a couple transitions, and we're going through that again over the last 5 years, where I've got a couple people that have worked for me and Cindy now for 25 years, over 25 years, and they're getting ready to want to retire. So we couldn't do the things that we want to do and grow the business to where it is now, where we have 12 employees, and we're going to be looking for somebody new in the new year again, because we're going to have a couple people over the next couple of years phase out from 5 days to 4 to 3 to gone, sort of thing, right? So the team has so much knowledge,
of course,
and most of them have that passion that they feed from us, we believe. And the management team that's in place is a lot younger, and they're really passionate about what they're doing. We're blessed to have our personal lines manager. She teaches for the Insurance Brokers Association of British Columbia.
Right.
So she teaches everybody. So when we have somebody new, we have a teacher there every day to inspire those young minds.
No question, we don't do things alone, right? But 2 things that you said, first of all, you have to have a team around you. My secretary was with me for some 18 years as well, right? So, and wherever I went in my past life, whether it was running large corporations or small ones, you know, once you're together, they realize you have a passion, and I realize that they have a passion. You know, the price of success really is belief, right? You said it earlier, you know, if you believe in your business, first of all, in being honorable, a win-win situation, you know, and then you show it as a leader, then that's really where success comes from. Now you say, of course, you work hard, you play hard, you're an avid golfer. Is there anything else that you do?
Well, you know, golf is important, so I have a coach. I work on that, especially this time of the year where we're not living in a Soyuz. In the spring, summer, and fall, we have our cottage up there where Cindy and I work from. We're actually launching Fawcett Insurance at the cottages because a friend of mine that owned the local insurance agency sold to a big corporation, and he said, go to it. So already picked up the golf course, and we're going to be
This is how you
concentrating.
persuade your wife that you're really, really working, right?
She works more technically in the office
Yeah.
because I'm out
On the
visiting.
golf course. I mean, with clients.
I'm out visiting people, either on the golf course or at their businesses. So we also we have some arthritic issues, so we go to a trainer once a week, and it's actually just by VGH. So we go all the way from Deep Cove. We work out in different shifts. So I go have a coffee and work on my phone while she's doing her workout, and then we go out on a date night. So that's
Nice,
every
yeah.
Wednesday.
I mean, how long have you guys been together now?
We just celebrated our 30th anniversary.
Neat, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, you
that's-
have, obviously everybody talks balance, but you seem to have the work and the life enjoyment
You got to work
and
at
balance.
it. Yeah. She's, dealing with a gentleman that's got ADH, dyslexic. So we all have our challenges in life that we share with our spouses, and she's a trooper. She's my rock.
Well, and I think that is so wonderful to see. And as you know, I've been married for a very long time too. And in today's world, you're almost like an oddball if you stay a long time.
That's what everybody tells us. Yeah.
And maybe we are.
We're trying to break the mold, Oz. Right? You and Joe and me and Cindy. Yeah.
But I love it. I mean, you work hard, you travel, you spend time on living life large. You're being an example to your kids. I'm so happy that you took the time to join me today and share a little bit. Are there any final things that you like to leave us with? Any pearls of wisdom?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they're pearls of wisdom, but I'm a big believer in planning. If it's the business, our personal life, all our real estate investments and joint ventures that we're involved with, again, learning from my father, the wise man that he is fail to plan, plan to fail. I'm already planning stuff for next year, the end of the fall and the following year. You have to make time to do things. It's nice to be spontaneity. There's nothing wrong with, hey, honey, we're heading to Harrison for the weekend. I booked the room, pack your bags, I'm coming home, right? That's important in a relationship as well.
No, and I agree with you. You have to do a little bit of both. But as you say, if you don't plan, if you don't have some sort of a plan of action, and it's funny, you go to the bank, they want a plan. If you want to borrow $10,000, they want to know what your plan is to pay it back. And then you go to a club over there, what's your plan? And then for our own life, we don't seem to have a plan. We don't spend, and that's the number one company is you yourself, Jeff Incorporated.
True.
Look, I fully agree with you, and I've enjoyed us being together. And this is OzBuzz. You can find other OzBuzz podcasts at ozbuzz.ca. That's OZBUZZ.ca. And it's been a real pleasure, Jeff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend.